In many ancient African societies, weaving was never understood as a simple act of craftsmanship meant only to produce clothing or decoration. It was regarded as a sacred process, deeply connected to the structure of the universe itself. To weave was to participate in creation. The weaver did not merely interlace fibers but aligned invisible forces, drawing order out of chaos in the same way the cosmos was believed to have been formed. Each thread symbolized a living line of energy, stretching between past and future, between the ancestors and the unborn. The loom became a sacred space, and the rhythmic movement of the hands echoed the pulse of time and the breath of the earth. Within this worldview, the weaver held a respected and sometimes spiritual role in the community. Knowledge of patterns was not freely invented, but inherited, revealed through dreams, rituals, and ancestral guidance. Certain designs could only be woven at specific times or by initiated individuals because they carried spiritual weight and cosmic meaning. Colors were chosen with intention, fibers were prepared with ritual care, and mistakes were believed to disturb the balance encoded within the cloth. In this way, weaving functioned as a form of silent prayer, a material dialogue between human beings and the unseen forces that govern life, destiny, and the harmony of a universe. Across the African continent, woven cloth functioned as a symbolic language through which the cosmos was made visible. Every color, shape, and repeated pattern carried meanings that reached far beyond aesthetics. Dark blues and deep blacks often evoke the night sky and the realm of mystery, while bright whites and yellows reflected sunlight, purity, and divine presence. Red spoke of life force, blood, sacrifice, and spiritual power. These colors were not chosen at random. They formed a visual vocabulary through which cosmic energies were named, balanced, and communicated. Geometric forms within the textiles mirrored the structure of the universe as it was understood by ancient African cosmologies. Straight lines suggested continuity and ancestral lineage, while zigzags echoed lightning, rivers, and the dynamic movement of spiritual forces. Circles and spirals represented cycles of birth, death, and rebirth, reminding the community that time was not linear but eternally returning. When these elements were woven together, the cloth became a map of existence, linking sky, earth, and spirit. To wear such fabric was to carry a fragment of the cosmos on the body, allowing the unseen rhythms of the universe to remain close to human life and constantly present in everyday experience. In societies where written language was not the primary means of preserving knowledge, woven cloth became a living archive of memory and meaning. Patterns were not merely decorative repetitions, but encoded stories that spoke of origins, migrations, sacred laws, and encounters with the divine. A single textile could carry the history of a lineage, the myth of a first ancestor, or the memory of a cosmic event believed to have shaped the destiny of the people. Through careful repetition and transmission, these narratives survived across generations without ever being written down. Elders and master weavers served as guardians of this silent history, ensuring that the stories embedded in cloth were neither altered nor forgotten. Young learners did not simply study patterns with their eyes, but absorbed their meanings through oral teaching, ritual instruction, and communal storytelling. In this way, textiles functioned as both memory and authority, reminding the community of who they were and how they were meant to live in harmony with the universe. When worn, displayed, or used in ceremony, these fabrics did more than recall the past. They actively reaffirmed a shared cosmic identity, binding individuals to their ancestors and to the enduring order of the world. Woven cloth reached its fullest meaning when it entered the realm of ritual, where symbols were believed to awaken and invisible forces were invited to act. In many African traditions, textiles were not passive objects, but vessels of power that required proper activation through ceremony. During initiations, coronations, healing rites, and funerals, specific fabrics were unveiled, worn, or displayed to open a channel between the human community and the ancestral or spiritual world. The cloth marked sacred transitions, signaling that the wearer had stepped into a different state of being, protected and guided by forces beyond the visible. Authority and spiritual legitimacy were often expressed through fabric, as chiefs, priests, and kings wore textiles whose patterns embodied cosmic order and ancestral approval. To wrap the body in such cloth was to align oneself with divine law and universal balance. In moments of ritual intensity, drumming, chanting, trance, and sacrifice, the woven narratives were believed to come alive, reinforcing protection, healing, or judgment. The fabric did not simply represent cosmic stories. It performed them. Through movement, touch, and presence, the textile allowed ancient narratives to flow into the present moment, making the unseen world briefly tangible and powerfully real. Despite centuries of disruption caused by colonialism, forced religious conversion, and industrialization, the ancient threads of African weaving have never been fully broken. In many communities, traditional patterns continue to be woven, worn, and revered, even as their meanings are quietly preserved within families and artisan lineages. These textiles remain carriers of cosmic knowledge, holding symbols that speak of balance, ancestry, and the unseen order of the universe. What once served entire villages as a shared language of meaning now survives as a resilient whisper, still capable of teaching those who know how to listen. In the modern world, a renewed interest in indigenous knowledge and cultural identity has begun to reawaken these woven narratives. Contemporary artists and spiritual practitioners are revisiting ancient designs, not as museum relics, but as living expressions of wisdom that remain relevant in an age of disconnection. Through cloth, the past continues to speak, reminding humanity that knowledge does not exist only in books or digital archives, but also in hands, rhythms, and sacred patterns passed quietly from one generation to the next. The unseen threads still bind earth to sky, memory to destiny, and human life to the greater cosmic story.